Hey, what's going on, guys? This is AndrewChicken, and welcome back to another video. Deadlock is one of the greatest games that I've ever played, and it's not even out yet. It's still in a closed beta state, and they're adding things to the game all the freaking time. And it is so cool to see the development of this game. I mean, just a year ago, this hideout I'm sitting in didn't even exist. And yeah, they've really come a long way, but I still think that there are some fun things that they could add to the game that would just make it feel a little bit better, or a little bit more polished, or just be generally interesting and fun and cool. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing a couple of my suggestions that I've been thinking about that could make the game feel just a little bit better to play, and I'd love to hear your own suggestions in the comments, as well as what you think about my ideas here in this video. Now, a lot of these aren't really going to be necessarily new hero ideas, or game mode ideas, or balance ideas, or anything like that. These are more so focused on quality of life features, visual features, stuff like that that I think would be really cool. So for my first couple of suggestions here, we're going to be heading over to the map because, well, Deadlock's map is very, very cool, and they've made a ton of changes on it since I've started playing, and honestly, it's really come a long way. And while I am nostalgic for the old map, I have to admit this new map is a heck of a lot better, and this visual update that they gave to it a couple months ago is absolutely stunning. This time of day is fantastic. They took it from about noonish to more of a sunset theme, and it is incredible. But that leads me into my first suggestion, which is that they don't have to limit themselves to just one time of day. They could do a whole time cycle for the map, where you load into the map and it's just randomly either sunset like it is now, noon like it was on the old map, or some other time of day. For example, how do you think the Deadlock map would look at midnight? I think that would be pretty spooky and pretty spectacular for the theme of this game. And while this current sunset is genuinely incredible, and I don't want to take away from that at all, I just think it would be really cool to freshen things up and kind of make the experience a little bit more dynamic, where you don't know exactly how the map is going to look with every single match that you load into. It might be a little brighter, might be a little darker, the time of day will just be different. Or maybe you could even hook it up to the players in real life time zone. I don't know if that would be a little too special or a little bit too crazy, but at the very least, I think different time zones could be cool. My next suggestion, however, is much more practical, both in terms of how easy it would be for the devs to implement, and also how helpful it would be to us as players. And frankly, I'm surprised they haven't done this yet, because it seems like kind of a no-brainer to me. So these jungle camps here, they have this very special little enchanter's circle here. We've got this little pattern on the floor, we've got these candles here, and it's glowing very brightly to indicate that, hey, there is a camp here. And so what I think would be really cool is that if you actually kill the camp here, I think these candles should turn off, and I think the circle should stop glowing. And then as the camp respawns, slowly but surely, the candles start to light back up again, and it starts to glow brighter and brighter until eventually the camp comes back. And I think this would be a great in-universe way to indicate that the camps are not available, but they are slowly respawning, and it would be a great way to kind of convey to the player the overall respawn timer for these camps, because the camps do also have different respawn timers. Tier 3 camps take much longer than Tier 2 camps, and then Tier 2 camps take much longer than the Tier 1 camps, which only take 3 minutes to respawn. And so I think this would just be a really nice quality of life feature for the players. And sure, once the camp has been immediately taken, I guess it would be a little bit less clear that there was a camp here, but since there's no camp to worry about anyways, I think it would be fine, and honestly, it might even be a little bit less distracting, because when the camp is gone, there's still that shining circle on the floor, and yeah, I don't know, I just think it would be really cool, and I actually have floated this idea before, and I know some people in the comments have said they liked it, and I'd love to hear your opinions in the comments here, and maybe if enough people like it, Valve will actually do it. Anyways, we're back into the hideout for my next suggestion, and this suggestion is so gosh darn popular that there's actually already a mod for it, and it's a very simple suggestion too. Allow us to have Sandbox controls in the hideout. Currently, you can't use any Sandbox controls over here to change your item slots, your cooldowns, your max level, etc. And so you're kind of just stuck here at level 0 unless you use console commands to give yourself a bunch of levels like that, but you can't really fine-tune it. It's just not very convenient, and if we're going to have a little play area here, a little sandbox where we've got a friendly Infernus, evil Abrams here, and a bunch of other goodies like these breakables up here, then I think we should be allowed to have sandbox controls here to just test out builds and test a couple of quick things comfortably without having to actually teleport all the way to the dedicated sandbox. It's a very simple suggestion, and I know I'm not breaking any new ground with this, but I figured I'd include it anyway because, well, I just think it'd be really nice. Now for my next suggestion. I want to crowd control myself. Oh god, oh it's terrible, and then I'm gonna get killed by this Infernus player. He's so evil, he's attacking me. Oh god, I'm gonna die, and oh, darn it, I'm dead. I got hit by 3 separate crowd control devices there, and oh my goodness, I'm stuck. But yeah, I got hit by a silence wave, a slowing hex, and a curse there, and in the heat of battle, especially during a chaotic moment, it can be hard to tell when you're actually hit by any of those devices, right? Or how many of those hit you from which characters, and at what points they actually hit you, right? So it's a lot to deal with, and if you try to look at your death recap here, you'll notice that none of those actually show up. There's no silence wave, no slowing hex, no curse here on my incoming death message. And so I think it would be very helpful if there was some way to convey these types of crowd control that are affecting you that don't actually deal any damage, right? So let's say, right, this Infernus hits me with a silence wave. I think there should be a separate little thing down here that indicates that I was hit by a silence wave. So that way I know that I was silenced for part of that engagement, and that's part of why I died, because I wasn't able to use my abilities. Because there are some cases where, you know, there's a very chaotic battle happening. It's a team fight. There's like 3 or 4 people on both teams just all brawling and engaging in a duel. And I don't necessarily know that one of the enemies has slowing hex, and so I get hit by the slowing hex, I panic, I can't use some of my abilities, I die like 1 second after, and I'm a little confused, and then I have to go through and look, oh, does somebody have slowing hex? What the heck? This would just save a little bit of time, and it would make it clearer which enemies have which crowd control effects, so that way, it's just a bit easier to tell what's going on. But I think just adding that extra little bit of clarity for some of these items like slowing hex and silence wave would really go a long way towards making it a lot clearer what's happening to you. Furthermore, there is an outgoing damage tab where you're able to see the amount of damage that you've done over the course of a fight or over your last death or something like that. I think it would also be pretty cool if there was one of those for healing as well, where you get to see how much healing you did to yourself and your allies in a fight, so you'll be able to break down and see, oh, I did 300 healing to myself with the Healing Spectre, I did 200 healing to Kelvin with the Medicinal Spectre, and then I popped my Healing Nova, and I was able to give me, Kelvin, and Infernus all an additional 300 healing, and just being able to see that would also be really, really fun, I think, to see how your healing is impacting your team in a specific fight. And also, like, can we just make the healing numbers look a little bit better? Because, like, these are kind of small, they're kind of bland, black and white, right? Like, compared to the damage numbers, these are, like, much bigger, they're orange, they're cool. Can you imagine if the healing numbers were, like, big and green instead on your allies? Kind of similar to the damage numbers, but just healing versions, right? I think that would be a little cool. It would make healing feel more rewarding in this game. My final suggestion is one that I would really, really appreciate as someone who is super into build crafting in this game, because, well, builds are one of my favorite part of the game, but I actually have no way to gauge how much people are actually using my builds or how successful my builds are. Take, for example, this $400,000 McGinnis build. This is one of my favorite builds as of recently, and I've been playing it a lot. But if I go into the build browser here and just take a look at my build, well, I don't have any statistics for this build. I can copy it, I can edit it, I can publish it, delete it. Oh, I'm not deleting this build, heck no. And I can have my build ID and my version number up here, but there's no button or no menu where I can view statistics for this build. I think it would be super cool if you were able to basically pull up a page where you're able to see your individual win rate for your build, how many other people have used your build, how many matches your build has been played in, and the win rate for everybody using your build. I think that would be super convenient. And I think it would also be even cooler if you could like or dislike a build that is available publicly. So you'd be able to go over here to the public tab, and let's say you try out a build and you really like it. Well, not only would you favorite it so you can use it more frequently, but you also might give it a thumbs up to help promote it in this little public tab over here. And also for any of these public builds, you'd then be able to click on like this Ray build here and click on the stats page and see, oh, this has a pretty good win rate or a pretty win rate. And it would help you gauge which builds you would want to take much more effectively. And you, as the build creator, would also also be able to see how popular your build is and how effective your build is in your own hands and in the hands of other people. It would be such a nice addition to the build browser tab here, and I would really, really love it because as far as I'm aware, there's not really a way that you can see this information for builds right now, but it would be so cool and so helpful. But anyways, that's going to do it for my video here about suggestions for improving Deadlock and adding things to Deadlock that I think would be cool. What do you think about my suggestions? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. And if you liked this video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos from me. But with all that being said, thank you guys for watching. I will see you all next time. Peace out.